Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into Mark Zuckerberg's massive 10-year roadmap for Meta. We're going to decode how all these upcoming hardware and software bets are actually designed to completely reshape our daily lives, our work, and, most importantly, our relationships. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting the next computing platform, the presence paradox, the AI evolution, the open source debate, and finally, the limits of AI. Let's just jump right in. Section 1. The next computing platform. Miniaturizing the future. So, to give you an idea of the sheer ambition we're dealing with here, Zuckerberg's team literally calls their new Orion prototype the Tony Stark glasses. And honestly, it's pretty easy to see why. The whole goal is to project full, wide-field holograms directly into the real world. Just imagine sitting across the table and seeing a full-body hologram of your friend, or, playing a holographic board game on your actual living room coffee table. It is absolutely wild that they've somehow managed to miniaturize projectors, eye tracking, sensors, and waveguide displays into a totally stylish, normal-looking pair of glasses. And this perfectly illustrates the grand arc of computing. Technology is constantly, relentlessly moving closer to us. Think about it. We went from those giant room-sized mainframes in the 70s to desktop computers in the 90s, and then to smartphones right in our pockets in the 2010s. So the next logical step for the 2030s? Technology moving right onto our faces. The overall trend is that computing is becoming way more ubiquitous, more natural, and much more social, rather than us just staring down at a little glowing rectangle that totally pulls us out of the real world. Now, to declutter this massive hardware vision, Meta's hardware actually falls into 4 permanent coexisting tiers. They figured out pretty quickly that one single ultimate pair of glasses isn't going to serve everyone right out of the gate. First up, we've got displayless glasses, kind of like the current Ray-Ban Metas, which are just fantastic for talking to AI on the go. Next is a heads-up display for your basic text and directions. Then we step up to the premium, full holographic tier, like that Orion prototype we were just talking about. And finally, the full headsets, like the Quest 3S, which deliver really high compute mixed reality at a super accessible price point, like $299 accessible. The key takeaway here? These aren't just stepping stones to one final product. They are 4 permanent lanes of technology. Moving right along to Section 2, the presence paradox, solving the connection crisis. This builds into the deep psychological mission driving all of this hardware, because the ultimate goal isn't just cool tech, it's creating a genuine feeling of human presence. And this matters immensely right now. Why? Well, think about your own life. We are way more digitally connected than ever before, yet we're facing a very real crisis of physical disconnection. Over the last 20 years, data from the American Time Use Survey shows that the amount of time American adults spend socializing in person has dropped by nearly 30%. 30%! And for teenagers, that drop is even more staggering. So the crucial point really comes down to this central question. If we socialize digitally using AR glasses, is that going to isolate us even further, or is it actually unlocking connection for people who currently lack it? Zuckerberg argues the latter. He points out that the average person wants a vibrant social circle, but really struggles to maintain one just due to distance and the chaos of modern life. AR isn't here to replace a physical dinner with your spouse. It's designed to unlock deep, realistic quality time with a sibling who lives 3,000 miles away. But to actually achieve this, you have to perfect the illusion for the human brain. Zuckerberg admits, you can't exactly hug your mom through AR right now. Delivering physical touch or haptic feedback across the whole body is just incredibly hard. However, Meta is finding that you don't necessarily need perfect touch. If you can perfect realistic eye contact and capture the authentic, subtle mannerisms of a person's avatar, that successfully convinces our brains that we are truly together. He even shared this hilarious anecdote where a virtual ping-pong physics simulation was so incredibly real, he actually tried to lean on the virtual table and completely dropped his controller onto the floor. That's when you know the illusion of presence is really working. All right, shifting gears, let's look at Section 3, the AI evolution, personalized intelligence. This is the invisible software powering this future, the brain behind the eyes of these new devices. Personalized AI is being built directly into these glasses so it can see exactly what you see and hear exactly what you hear, giving it real-time, real-world context. And there's a really fascinating spectrum to AI's role in our lives here. On one hand, AI acts to remove our struggles. Think of real-time Star Trek-style universal translation happening right in your glasses, instantly removing language barriers. Amazing, right? But on the flip side, AI shouldn't remove all struggle, because sometimes the struggle is the point. AI can act as a tool to help us build cognitive muscles. For example, using it to help kids think rigorously to design complex code, or acting as a conversational sounding board to help someone untangle and articulate complex emotions. It's kind of like the modern-day equivalent of learning to use a calculator. You still absolutely need to understand the underlying math. This personalized AI is also going to fundamentally change social media as we know it. Imagine your absolute favorite creator. They only have so many hours in a day, right? But they have an unlimited demand from their fans. Enter AI creator artifacts. These are essentially customized, interactive digital sculptures trained on a creator's specific context, their tone, their rules. It's a completely new paradigm for digital communities. You're interacting with a highly personalized digital sculpture of someone when they aren't even there. It allows audiences to connect in a way that feels surprisingly real, even when the human creator is totally offline.
Section 4, the open source debate, concentrated versus open.
So who should actually control all this AI infrastructure? That leads us directly into a massive philosophical battle happening right now across the tech industry, centering heavily around open source software like Meta's Llama models. Meta is taking the open source route. This means they're making the foundational code available for developers all over the world to use and modify. While some companies out there want one centralized, lockdown AI system to rule them all, the open source approach completely avoids that monopoly. It allows every single business and creator to build their own unique models. And counterintuitively, making AI open source doesn't just democratize the tech, it actually makes it a whole lot safer. History proves that opening the code up to thousands of developers means so much more scrutiny. It allows the community to discover security holes and squash bugs way faster than a single company ever could on its own in a closed loop. Finally, as we look ahead to the conclusion of this roadmap, we arrive at Section 5, the limits of AI, multi-billion-dollar bet. We really have to acknowledge the great mystery that's driving Meta's incredibly massive financial investments. With these transformer AI models continuing to grow rapidly, we're seeing something highly unusual. They haven't hit a plateau yet. Meta's spending hundreds of billions of dollars on computing infrastructure, essentially banking on the fact that this growth won't stop anytime soon. So the ultimate question I want to leave you with is this. Are we about to hit an invisible AI ceiling where the tech finally levels out? Or are we just at the very beginning of an unprecedented 20-year exponential rocket ride that will totally redefine what it means to be human? Take a second and let that sink in as you think about the next decade of technology. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the future.